Hello, this is Ana Dominguez, your language coach. Today we are going to see how to write a review. So writing a review. In this PDF, I will be showing you the sample that I always tell you that you need to listen first or read on your own other samples of how to write a review. So writing reviews, you learn them by reading how others have been writing a review. So it is essential that you find models, samples. And I'm going to give you one sample, and my recommendation is that you do a dictation. Yes, you just listen and take notes of the sample that I'm going to read. Then also I'll give you a task. So you will find here an exercise. My recommendation is that you perform it. Usually I give you time during the same week to perform the task. You send it to me in a Word document or by email, and I'll give you my feedback. When I give you my feedback in your writings, I usually don't erase your mistakes, slips, or structures, because it is important that you find your own mistakes and you learn how to solve this situation. So I'll give you, beside your mistakes that I will highlight, I will give you the solution. And that will be done in my feedback. Who received my feedback? The people that I usually coach, that I'm coaching these days. In my private lessons, you know that you have 1.5 hours with me. If you are preparing for official exams like first, advanced, even proficiency. And if you are just having a speaking fee, everything will be done in relation to speaking. So I'm not going to enter there now. But for these people that are performing official exams, you know you need to pass through different exercises, different writing styles. And one of them is this, a review. So in this PDF, you will find, for example, I'm going to give you the characteristics of a review. 260 words approx, mixed style, which means that it's not colloquial, neither too formal. So it's in the middle. It's in the middle, okay? It's as if you were writing for a review, a magazine, as if you were a journalist or someone that has experienced something and you are going to write about it. And usually you have to write a title without headlines in each paragraph. You don't need to write headlines in each paragraph, just a title, and then you talk about the experience. It is a critique of a book, a band, an app, a movie, or a theater play you have recently experienced. So this is essentially in a review. It's some experience that you have had of something, some kind of music band, some kind of book, novel, or any other theater play, or an app, even a website, or even a course that you have recently performed or done. And so you talk about this experience, you put a title on it, calling to action. Calling to action. Why? Because at the end of the day, it's like saying, okay, this is my experience, and then you suggest others and you encourage others to do their own experience, to have their own experience in the field of whatever you're talking. It has no headlines in each paragraph. You can start with a rhetorical question, then continue giving your opinion. Be descriptive by using a variety of adjectives and adverbs. Use technical vocabulary, conclude encouraging the reader to go and experience it by itself. Okay, so that's the main idea of how a review looks like. Yes. Now what I'm going to give you in this moment, as you can see, there is a person listening, so you need to really pay attention here now. And I'm going to read a sample. The first part of a review that you are going to listen to is the you are going to listen for the characteristics of a review. And then later, whenever I start reading actually the sample, I'll tell you now is the sample. And with the sample, you need to write the dictation. So you really need to use it as a dictation. So pay attention to me. I will start with the characteristics. Content, the characteristics in a review, the content. Max, you must explain who gave the performance and what the writer and audience thought of it. It must also compare the performance with the same persons or persons' performances or persons, comita ese, ¿vale? Or people's performances. Remember, person for one, people for more than one. But if I say person's performance, or I'm talking about the genitive home. That's why I use the S. Okay, don't confuse that, because person is one, people for more than one. So with the same people's performances or person's performance in recording or on TV or in films. Films. Remember, there is no pronunciation on L. The L is silent. Films. Communicative achievement. The register may be neutral, fairly informal, or fairly formal. So what it means is that neither, as I told you before, neither too formal, neither too informal. Okay, it's a neutral style. The writer may choose to write a serious review or to write a review that is intended simply to entertain the reader. The reader should have a clear idea of what the performance was like, what the writer and other people their thought of it, and how it compared with previous performances in the writer's opinion. Organization. The review should be approximately divided into paragraphs, perhaps presenting the background, a description of the performance, a comparison with other performances, and a conclusion. So as they are telling you already, presenting the background, first paragraph, description of the performance, second paragraph, a comparison with other performances, third paragraph, and a conclusion, fourth paragraph. Appropriate linking words and phrases should be used to link description with opinion. Language. It is likely that a wide variety of verb tenses will be required. Past tenses for the performance and present perfect tenses for the background and the situation until the performance. Comparative structures are required to compare the live performance with the previously seen or heard performance. Vocabulary associated with the performing and entertainment must be used accurately. And vocabulary describing people's feelings. Impressions and reactions should also be used accurately. So now I'm going to read the sample. So pay attention and use it as a dictation. Model answer. Title, Concert Review, the highlights. Recently, I went to see the highlights giving a concert at a huge stadium near my hometown. The Highlights are one of the most popular bands here at the moment, and they are also my favorite band. I've got everything they've ever recorded, and I must have listened to each song at least 100 times. However, until that concert, I had never managed to see them live before. So I was incredibly excited about seeing them. That's the first paragraph. Now the second paragraph. Their performance was certainly not a disappointment. They played all of their best known songs. Their best known with a hyphen in the middle, songs. But they didn't play them exactly as they sound on the CDs. The sound was not as sophisticated as it is on the recordings, and there were none of the special effects from the records. Instead, comma, this is very interesting, no? The linkers that we use, remember, in this case, instead, comma, what we saw and heard was the band playing and singing in a natural way without much technology, as if they were performing in a local club. Dot, and we keep writing. In my opinion, comma, they sounded even better than they do on the recordings. Dot. There was more energy and it seemed somehow more personal. Dot, and it's still the same paragraph. They didn't seem like a hugely famous act, remote from the audience. They seemed like a bunch of friends playing at a party, period. So it's dot, and then we start with the third paragraph. Period, when I say period, you move on to the third paragraph. I was thrilled by the performance, and so was the rest of the audience, and so was the rest of the audience. In this and so was the rest, this is an inversion, so pay attention to these things. The atmosphere was fantastic and everyone was dancing and smiling. It felt like a special occasion, comma, and we were the only people involved in it. Dot. It was a very memorable experience for me, and it confirmed for me that the Highlights are my favorite band of all time! Exclamation mark. So this is another thing you could use, and I have finished, okay? This is the end of the sample. This is another thing you can use in this writing. Actually, it has appeared 2 exclamation marks, one at the end and the other one at in the first paragraph when I was reading. I must have listened to each song at least 100 times! Exclamation mark. Okay, so you could perfectly use in mixed style in a review these exclamation marks to call the attention of the readers and everything, and to sound natural as well. So if we move on, you will see now your task. This is what you have to do on your own. You see the following announcements in an international magazine. Product reviews wanted. Have you bought a new product recently, or had one bought for you? Or had one bought for you? As you can see, this is another way of asking you if someone has bought you something, okay? Or had one bought for you. Maybe you've just got a new gadget or a piece of technology or equipment. It could be something for work or leisure. I'd like to hear what you think of it for our readers' reviews page. Describe the product for readers and give your opinions on it. Do you remember? Do you recommend it? Recommend with 2 M's. Do you recommend it? If so, why? If not, why not? Send your review to the address below. So as you can see, this is one of the samples that can appear in the writing test in any official exam. You know that at the beginning, the compulsory part is an essay, which is formal style. But in the second part, they give you 3 options. And one of them could be this, a review, a letter, a proposal, a complaint letter, you see, a report. But in this case, I'm helping you to identify how to write a review, okay? So with this, we have finished the instructions for your task. Now, I'm going to give you, as in this last part of the video, I'm going to give you the how to write a review. So these are the essential guidelines for you to understand how it works, the review. use a scrap paper. So it is important, use a scrap paper. So take any paper you have before you start writing yours and write and note down the first ideas and some vocabulary, technical vocabulary, or anything that comes first to your mind on that scrap paper. So write it there before you start writing the review, you see? Then give a well-structured order, title and no headlines. Remember, 4 paragraphs with a title that catch the attention of the reader. Use mixed style. I already told you that you could be not too formal, neither too informal. Mixed style, which means that you could use phrasal verbs, you could use colloquial style with exclamation marks, things like that. You can also do contractions, you see, like instead of I have listened, you could say I've listened, you see. Remember to use rhetorical questions and a variety of adjectives and technical words related to the topic that you are describing. Use structures like comparative, superlative, relative sentences, modals, because remember, when you are suggesting someone to do something, or you are encouraging, someone to do something, you may use modals in order to, suggest someone to do something. Or even suggest certain improvements in the course that you have taken, or in the in the experience that you're talking about. Say the benefits of it, the benefits that you have experienced, and suggest improvements and encourage the readers to experience it. And that's it. This is the end of the review, how to write a review. If you find my videos interesting, if you find my content useful for your own purposes of getting this civil exam or this official exam, I recommend you please subscribe to my channel, and say that you like, and comment below something about the review that I have been explaining. So I talk to you soon. Bye.